Arcadia Sun. The
God is here. So I want to thank everybody for voting on the poll that I uploaded to help me vote on which story time to do. And the story time that won was story time about my soulmate was killed. So I'm going to tell that story right now. I don't make a disclaimer that you can have more than one soulmate. Okay? Your kids could be a soulmate. Your siblings could be one of your soulmates. Your parents, your lover, your friends could be a soulmate. Okay? You have more than one soulmate. So for the sake of this video, I don't want to say his name. I'm going to say his name is Alejandro. We're going to call him Alejandro. Long story short, me and Alejandro met. I'm gonna laugh every time I say Alejandro. We met in kindergarten. We were like 5 years old. In kindergarten we met. I don't remember like the first time we met, but we were in kindergarten. I remember I remember like the stuff I used to wear. I remember the clothes that he used to wear to school. We were little. I remember he used to give me like his little candies, or he would give me like his chocolate milk. You know, he was like my boyfriend. You know, whatever your boyfriend is in kindergarten, you know, he'd give you his chocolate milk. You know, we chased each other around at recess and played together. That was what we did up until like second grade. And then I actually moved. My mom moved. We moved. And I went to another school, so I didn't see him anymore. You know, fast forward to middle school, we ended up in the same middle school or junior high school. And so we're like 13 at this time, 14 at this time. And I remember seeing him. I think we were at orientation because it wasn't school. I remember it was like orientation because we were like all in the auditorium in the cafeteria. And I remember seeing him, and like he was looking at me. And then I turned and I looked at him, and like, you know how like in the movies when like the boy sees the girl and their eyes meet and it's like googly eyes, and then it's like time freezes. It kind of felt like that. And I was like, is that? And I'm thinking, he's like in his head wondering like, is that her? You know, and I'm like, and I just turned my head and I was like, and I look back, you know, and I don't think we like said anything to each other at that time. But anyway, like school started, and you know, seeing each other, and we're like, yeah, you went to so and so school, and you went to this school, and I was like, yeah, and he was like, you, and I was like, yeah, and it was like, oh my god, you know, like that. So it's really crazy. We ended up in the same middle school. So like, unfortunately, his mom had passed away during that time, so that's why he ended up moving with his grandmother, who actually lived like in a neighboring neighborhood. A neighborhood next to mine, and we ended up in the same school district. So we went to the same middle school and high school, right? So middle school, you know, we got close again. We used to talk on the phone. You know, we had a few classes together. We got really close, but we were just friends. Like I had a boyfriend in middle school, so me and him were just friends. And you know, we used to go like to parties, and we'd go to like movies and like little stuff that you do at 13 and 14, you know, with your friends. So he was always like in my group of friends, and me and him were really close. We got really close, you know. He talked about a lot of stuff like with his mom, you know, and like he never knew his dad, and we just talked about a lot of stuff, you know. And we got really close during like, you know, junior high days and everything. So then high school, we still were close, like I said, and that was just like my best friend. Like we always hung out. We always was on the phone. We go to the mall. Anytime like I needed someone, like I'll call him like, come with me to the mall, or come with me and do this. And you know, he'd always come with me, and he'd be doing crazy stuff like on the city bus, like the metro bus, or like he was just crazy, and we would just have fun together and stuff like that. And I remember like he used to come, like he would come to my house. My mom knew him, you know. He would come to like my family cookouts. Like, you know, I knew his grandma knew me. Like we were really like family. But it was always like that underlying tone of like, you know, I still like you. Like, you know, we knew, but we didn't talk about it, you know. We were just friends. And I remember, like, people used to always think we were like boyfriend and girlfriend, and we weren't, you know, we weren't. And my best friend, my girl best friend, used to always be like, girl, he's in love with you, you know, like, why don't you stop, you know, like making jokes. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? We're friends, you know. And I remember, like, in high school, we would try to hook him up with, like, girls. You should talk to her, you know. And he'd be like, no. And my best friend would be like, girl, he don't want nobody but you. He's in love with you. And I was like, no, he not. Like, you know, just playing it off. But we kind of knew. Me and him always kind of knew, like, you know, I don't know. But in high school, he kind of, like, went down, like, a different path. Like, I was always like into my academics. He never really was into academics, but you know, he was a pretty good kid. But in high school, you know, he started to hang around a certain crowd, like, you know, that weren't like the best influence on him and doing things, and he was just like in a lot of trouble all the time. So I didn't really, you know, I was more into like the good guys, you know, like the jocks and the stuff like that in high school. I wasn't really into like the dudes who skip school and were always fighting, you know. Yeah, but he was still my friend nonetheless. We still close. We still had a crazy like friendship and bond, and I used to talk to him about everything, and he used to talk to me about, you know, everything, and we were just inseparable. So then after high school, so now I remember the summer we graduated high school. After that, I think me and my high school boyfriend ended up breaking up. My high school boyfriend ended up going to college somewhere or whatever, you know. And I was like always sick from like middle school. You know, I was always struggling with my health, and I would be in and out the hospital. He would come, you know, to the hospital all the time. His grandma used to come visit me in the hospital. He'd come with my mom sometimes to the hospital to see me. With my best friend, like my friends would come, you know, my mom, they just come visit me and stuff when I was in the hospital. So he was like my best friend. And so after high school, you know, our group of friends, we hung out like that whole summer. After high school, we hung out like to the wee hours of the morning. You know, this is like the first summer you're like 18 and your parents trying to give you like a little bit of leeway. You know, my mom was like, we were just out. We were going, everyone was having graduation parties. You know, we were just at every graduation cookout and party and just having us a good old time, you know. And that summer we kind of were like flirting, but nothing happened, you know, and we still were just friends. But it was always like those moments that we could have almost kissed, but we didn't. And I think I just was like, I didn't really want to like mess up our friendship, you know. And I think he kind of thought maybe that he wasn't my type. Like, he knew the type of guys that I talked to, and they weren't like him, you know. So he probably was just like, didn't want to get rejected or something, and I don't know why. So some time went by and everything, and his grandma actually passed away, I remember. And that was another thing that like really like strengthened our bond. You know, he would talk to me about that, and you know, he was really close with his grandma, you know, and him and his grandma were like, they'd be joking on each other and everything, and she loved me. She would cook, you know, every time I'd go over there. Or she would always tell him, you know, Jasmine to come by, and you know, everything. And we, you know, hung out in his house all the time. That was something very difficult for him, losing his mom at such a young age, and then his grandma taking him in, and his grandma ended up passing away after high school and everything. He would always talk to me about these things and stuff. So like I said, he was like hanging around the wrong crowd. He was into things that, you know, were illegal. So he ended up going to jail. Was he in prison? No, he just went to jail. So even when he was in jail, you know, I was like, we were writing letters. He would call me, and you know, that's when he first started to really like say like he loved me and stuff. But I was like, boy, you in prison? Like, I'm not. You just saying that, you know. That's what boys do. I wasn't like even paying him any mind. But then when he got home and he came, you know, we started hanging out again. He really kind of was approaching me like different, and it was just like, what are you doing? Like, no, you know, no. And I was just always just like, I don't want to ruin our friendship and stuff. But I knew, like, I felt, you know, that. But I guess, I don't know why. We just never like, but he never like tried anything on me. He would just have these conversations, like really trying to prove himself to me. Like, I'm serious. I want to try, you know, a relationship. I want to be more than friends with you. He had a tattoo of my name. He got my name tattooed, like right here on his hand and everything. And I was like, you know, but I had a boyfriend. So, yeah. him and my high school boyfriend actually almost got into it because my high school boyfriend thought that I was cheating on him, but my older brother knew that we were just friends, and my older brother was like, no man, they're just friends, y'all don't need to fight. So my older brother had to break it up and everything. But then it was cool. Then him and my high school boyfriend were kind of cool because my high school boyfriend knew that we were just friends. So, but yeah, back to this part. So he had got like my name tatted on him, and I was like, and my best friend was like, girl, he love you. Y'all need to be, y'all might as well be together. Y'all always together. Y'all this and that. Why don't you just be together? And I was like, no, like I don't know. But I remember, so like the summer, the summer like before he got killed, that's when we were like hanging out a lot, just me and him, and he was always just trying to convince me, like, let's do this, like, that's not. And I was like, no, like I don't want to mess up our friendship, like I don't know, but in all those times we were together, like he never like tried to like push himself on me or like force himself like kids. He never like did nothing like that. He was very respectful. He was my friend, he was really my friend. But I can't lie, there were those times where we were alone. I was like, you give him that look like you get it, like, but I was just hesitant for some reason. I don't really know, and nothing ever happened. So when he got killed, I remember I found out on social media. It was on Instagram. I remember waking up and just getting on Instagram, and it was like all this RIP, Alejandro, whatever his name, and I remember trying to call him. Of course he didn't answer, and I was trying to call like his cousin, that I knew, but I wasn't getting them. So and like I said, we grew up in the same neighborhood, and so I was asking my brother, and my brother was like, oh, I don't know, like I didn't hear anything, but yeah, I seen it on social media, but I don't know like what happened or whatever. And I remember like I had to like send my phone number to his cousin and tell her like to call me, like, she, like I had met her, she was kind of older than us, but I was like, can you call me, and she called me, and she told me, she was calm, but when she told me, she was like, he's gone. And I was like, what? I was like, what's going on? What like, what's going on? And she's like, he's gone. And I just remember her, she just kept saying, like, he's gone, he's gone, he's gone. And she just, like, started screaming on the phone. And I was, like, shocked. I think I was, like, shocked. And I remember my sister just asking me questions, and I was just, like, frozen. And I don't even know how we got off the phone. She hung up, I hung up, I dropped the phone. I don't even know what happened. I was just frozen. And I was just, like, sitting there, and I was just, like, I remember I felt, like, weak. I just felt like my arms, like I had no strength, like, in my body. Like, I remember my leg, I just felt so weak, like. And then I remember my best friend came over that night, and she stayed with me, and we were just like, remember when, having like a little remember when conversation, because he was so funny, he was so crazy, we were so silly together. He used to always say that, like, I love you, and you make me so silly. We just be laughing, we just be having a good time being silly, and that's just like what we brought out in each other, kind of, I guess. And we were just reminiscing and crying and laughing. She was just crying and laughing with me. And I just remember telling her, like now, it's just a feeling of now I will never know. Like, I will never know what could have been or what would have been if, maybe I was with him. Maybe I could have, like, how you just go through all these things in your head. Like, maybe if we were together, I would have been, convincing him not to be out late or not do certain things or not be around certain people. But, when it's your time, it's your time. And I know that now. But I remember, having all just feeling like guilt, like this boy wanted to be with me, like, and I was constantly just like, no. But at that time, I just thought I could have made, I don't know. And I remember my best friend, like, we had the same group of friends, so I remember my best friend was calling around just trying to figure out, like, and he had like a candlelight vigil, and we went, and everybody was talking about what happened, and you know, who did it, and we even knew the people who did it, you know, which was just like we all grew up together, like we all, you know, basically an issue that they had about money, as he thought, you know, he's stolen from him. Basically, that's what, you know, everyone was saying, and he just, you know, chose to solve it with gun violence. And so Alejandro would just sit in the car one night, and he the other person, the I don't want to say the guilty person, you know, saw him sit in the car and chose to do that, and he was killed that night. And I remember, like, it's really hard for me to talk about, but now I just am a person who believes like everything happens for a reason, you know. And he was just young, and it's just senseless stuff that, you know, unfortunately happens like in urban neighborhoods and like inner cities and stuff. So it's just a feeling now. It's just, I still think about it, like, you know, you never know like what could have been or what could have happened. But that's my story. I do believe that he was a soulmate of mine. Just the feeling, the connection, and the relationship that we had, and just, you know, we were just inseparable. We would never even go. We would never even go like a week or so without like talking to each other. So, you know, we were just attached to each other in a way, and I do believe that was one of my soulmates. But may he rest in paradise, and that's the end of the story. So thanks, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I will have the other story times coming soon. Make sure you thumbs up, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, and until next time, guys, bye.